Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. So in today's video, it's going to be a Hailey gunning build. Now, I know you might think, well, why bother with a gunning build? The Thundercage kind of kicks, and well, Hailey's got some new stuff as well that makes gunning with her way better than what it used to be. So let's get right on into it. Starting off with the Hailey modules. Let's begin with the maneuvering module. So with the maneuvering module, we will be using mid-air maneuvering. This is to basically, go around and use the grappling for movement. Next up, let's have a look at the red module. Now for a gunning build, you'd expect cryogenic cluster shot to be the main choice, right? However, we're not going with that. We in fact are going with Cold Heart. The reason we are going with Cold Heart is specifically for the movement speed increase and the crit rate increase on her 3, which is now reduced to 1.5, but the movement is significantly better to the point where I feel like using Cold Heart is literally worth it. So let's go in with the other integral parts of this build. For any gunning build, you go with shot focus, and in this instance we also go with hyper focus. So because of hyper focus, we will be using a skill crit on the enemy, which will give us 12% more firearm crit damage, which for this is going to kick very, very nicely. So that's going to be the main thing. Now for a gunning build, you kind of just follow the fundamentals. We're going to be spamming Hailey's 1 as much as we can to keep activating the firearm buff. So let's start off with adding some cooldown onto this build. Now we don't need to go too crazy with cooldown because it's not going to be our main thing and we're not skill spamming to stay alive. So we're going to go with 3 cooldown mods only in this setup. So we'll go with double MP conversion nimble fingers and also focus on chill. Now because this is a gunning build, we are relying on guns and they're not going to be the fastest thing in the world, so we are slapping HP amplification on here as well. Now with this as well, because we do want our first ability to obviously snipe as far as we can, we're going to go with 2 range mods. So we're going to slap on skill expansion and also amplification control. Now with this, because again we are spamming, we're going to add some skill cost onto the setup. This is going to allow us to basically just spam skills with basically no cost, so we'll be fine. With this as well, it's not really about hitting the highest damage numbers with the first ability. We are basically just going to be using this to get around and gun effectively. So that's kind of how it's going to be. Now, for the trigger mod, again, whenever you are in doubt, it's always just going to be power beyond, just because a 15% skill power increase is a little sweet, so we're just going to go with that in this instance anyways. So now let's have a look at the other parts of the setup on Hailey. So next up, let's grab the gun, and for the gun, it's just the Thundercage, specifically just the Thundercage. So you can tell what this is going to be about. And for the reactor, you'd want to go with a chill and singular reactor, because we are going with specifically the gunning setup, so we want our skills to do as much damage as we can. Cooldown and crit damage is going to be good. Nice little kick on the Descendant right over there. So that's going to be the reactor wrapped up. Next up, let's have a look at the external components. The external components with this build is going to be something that you're probably expecting. So first of all, we're going to go with 2 pieces of Shell Crusher. Shell Crusher is here because we're trying to crush some shells. No, I'm joking. It's because we want that fire rate increase from the 2-piece. Now, if you want to use the full Shell Crusher for mobs with bubbles, for example, if you're running this in Void Vessel or something, this would be a great idea. However, in this instance specifically, I'm going to go with 2 pieces of Firebrand. So Firebrand is going to be here for extra range. Ideally, that's pretty much that. So yeah, nice and easy. So for your ideal rolls, you're going to want max HP, MP recovery out of combat, max MP, MP recovery in combat, MP recovery modifier, and defense or electric resistance, and then shield and shield recovery modifier or toxic resistance. So that's pretty much it. Ideally, across all of your cores, you're going to want max HP and defense, so that's going to be, well, pretty easy for you to find anyways. So that's your external components done and dusted. Now for your Arche tuning tree. With this tree, you're going to want to go down the gunning route. So at least with this tree right now, the main way I would go about it is the following. I'd go all the way up over here. Then I'd go across and grab the enhanced firearm attack. With this weapon specifically, we just want to grab as much firearm as we possibly can, as well as crit damage and more of the enhanced weapon ATK. So that's just it. Pretty simple on there. Oh, sorry, we're going to want to grab the enhanced affinity thing over there, and it's just that. We're just focusing specifically on grabbing the weapon, what's the right word? Just grabbing DPS off the weapon. We don't really need to go too crazy with anything else. We don't need crit because Hailey gives us crit, and all the DPS is basically here anyways. So this is what we are going to be going with for the mutant cell tuning tree. Next up, let's have a look at the Thundercage. So the Thundercage in itself is, well, fairly simple. With Hailey, the cores are going to be slightly adjusted as well. So with this over here, I've gone with electric core for the DPS, firearm attack core, a crit damage core and not a rate core, specifically because Hailey's third ability will max out our rate, one fire rate core and one sprint core, so we are moving at full speed, 1 rounds per mag core, a crit rate, crit damage and a firearm attack core. For Hailey should be nice and good. As for the actual build on Hailey, this is what we are going with. And yes, we have dropped a bit of damage in favor of going with a rounds module. So we've still got our normal DPS and stuff like that, our fire rate, our triple crit modules, firing fiesta, which is going to be the most important part of this setup. And with that, it's essentially just going to be the Thundercage and Hailey. Now, this is going to be a very important part. We're going to want to have normal special rounds refining. This is to basically manage ammo. Ideally, you don't want to stop gunning, and you literally cannot stop gunning. So you're just going to want to go balls to the walls with this setup on the Thundercage. Next up, inversions. Inversions, you can go with skill cost, you can go with a bit of health, and you can go with some cellular stimulation over there. You could also go with this if you want to aim for weak points. Myself specifically, I'm not going to bother aiming very much with the Thundercage because have you seen what the thing does? So this is what I would go for with the inversions on the Thundercage, specifically right over here. Next up, let's have a quick look at the Ancestor mod for Hailey on this build. Now, because this is a gunning build or something of the sort, for an Ancestor mod on Hailey, ideally what you would want is either just cooldown, crit rate, not crit rate, you'd either want cooldown, crit damage, health, and that's pretty much it. In here, I do have cooldown and I do have chill, so this would work out for a nice damage kick. I could use this to replace focus on chill because I get both of them exact things in there with a little bit of DPS kick on my crit damage and a negative shield. In the gameplay of this, I was not using an Ancestor mod at all, so my damage was a little bit lower, but Ancestor mod would work basically like that. For a gunning build, it's just cooldown, duration up would also be quite nice. And health and just damage on your abilities. So for the Ancestor mod, it's not going to be too crazy of a change specifically with Hailey. So that about wraps up the actual setup for Hailey. So now let's have a look at the gameplay. Man, Hailey gameplay is something to behold, and I'm going to start off by showing you some squad gameplay. So in this gameplay over here, let me show you some Forbidden Sanctuary. Don't worry, I'll also show you some Breach Standing, because I'm sure you guys are interested in that too. So beginning off with this, I am running with 3 of my homies over here, and let me show you the run. You know how it goes inside of Sanctuary, and over there I activated my first ability, and I shot the mobs a little bit too slowly with the ability, so I ended up getting the wrong buff from Hyperfocus. But ideally, all you actually want to do from here is just activate your first ability constantly. As you can see there, I'm just constantly pressing it the moment it's back, and we're just going to try getting the right proc from Hyperfocus. Other than that, you can see I'm just basically running and just letting the Thundercage soar. It does ridiculous damage, and you ideally just want to keep an eye on your Hyperfocus loop in the corner where your blue buffs are. They're not blue. Where the green buffs are on the side of your screen, you're just going to want to keep an eye on your buffs there, and you will see just in general how capable this is. Now, for a Thundercage being a gunning weapon, you would think that it surely can't keep up with skills, right? Well, I'll let you be the judge of that at the end of this gameplay. So, with this here, I'm basically going in, I'm balling, I'm doing DPS. I think the biggest trick with the Thundercage is you always want to aim for the highest health mob or for the elite with the most health or something of the sort. If there's mobs, ships, or anything of the sort, you would want to aim at that first. The way that the way that its unique ability works optimally is, you'll see here when I start shooting the elites, is they survive and they tank the hits, which procs the unique ability the most. If I was to do that and start, for example, doing that in the middle of a horde, just aimbotting the elite will give the entire horde an absolute melt. It'll just start nuking everything around it because that's just how the Thundercage works. Again, over here, I'm just focusing on the elites once I do finish reloading, and it starts doing damage to everything else. Now, with the final boss, or with the boss, you'll see how this works again. Just gonna melt him, and Valby here is dropping the abilities, Luna's giving some skill buffs out, and all of that. Bunny's beaming it down. So if you look at this again, I aim at that, and just because I'm aiming at that, the Thundercage's unique ability procs and goes ballistic on other things as well. So if you aim at stuff like the pod casings, or swarm tunnels they're called, you'll get that effect. If you aim at the big old flashlight in the middle of the room, you get that effect. If you aim at ships, you get that effect. If you aim at the tyrants and Axion, you get that effect. This is probably what would be Hailey's optimal setup. And because of the speed boost you get out of Cold Heart, it just works very, very well for everything in terms of gameplay with Hailey. The best thing I can say about her, or just the best thing that I can say in general for Hailey, is, well, this works out very, very, very nicely. I think in terms of gunning, once you kind of do get into the groove, you won't really have very many problems. Now, with this as well, it's a very hands-on build. You have plenty of health, you've got plenty of abilities, ability strength, you've got plenty of melting the room with the Thundercage. The visual effects will be turned down in a future patch, so don't worry about that. Now, well, let's have a quick look at the final boss. Final boss in here shouldn't be too much of a problem, so let's go and melt him with the Thundercage as well. The reason I'm showing you this specifically in a 4-man squad is because scaling in squads exists too. So with this, again, making sure I activate Arche Focus, Firearm Focus, and I did it wrong there again for some reason. You can just see this doing plenty of damage. Whether it's the bunny beam or whether it's the Thundercage, we can't tell, but we'll find out shortly in a minute. And I want to quickly just give a massive shout out to Baker, Apocalyptos, and Al as well, because they were running this with me quite a few times to run tests and everything. So thank you to all my homies, because I love all of them. And final phase on the boss. Let's quickly see how it goes. With this over here, you can see once you do start lasering weak points with this weapon as well, it does even more damage. So yeah, all of that works out quite well. If you've made it this far in the video, please comment, Apo, give me buffs. You're welcome. So you can see here, we've just taken down the boss of the Forbidden Sanctuary, and Hailey, with nothing but a Thundercage, hit just shy of 3 billion damage. Just for reference, an average player in pub hits less damage than this, and Hailey on a Thundercage can hit that much damage as well. Absolutely nutty. So with this as well, you can kind of imagine where it does lead to with Hailey. As for Hailey in breach tracking, I was running this for about 9 minutes per run. Is it slower? Yes. Is it also practical? Yes. The realistic truth is, with breach tracking, I think this build is so much fun. I don't mind running twice as long because I'm so locked in with this setup that I'm just going ballistic with Hailey. And honestly, I was having a ton of fun with this. The biggest thing to keep an eye on though is your terrain. You definitely don't want to be getting stopped by rocks, especially when running around like this and gunning with Hailey. So yeah, there you go. Some Forbidden Sanctuary gameplay and some breach standing. I got this entire run done in like 7. I think it was between 7 and 10 minutes, Can't remember exactly, but it's capable and it's fun. The Hailey gunning god build is something that I think all my homies should definitely give a try, because I think a lot of people have invested in Hailey, and I think in general this is a must try gunning build because, well, it's satisfying. Thundercage is satisfying. Hailey gunning at a ridiculous speed with insane damage is satisfying. And honestly, don't sleep on this setup. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much everything from today's video. And I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button. And if you are new here, please do consider subscribing. I make plenty of videos on the first Descendant. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.